On today's episode, we're going to be focusing on storing or saving up money. We're also going to talk a little bit about the power of compound effort. Last week, we discussed with the CEO at Aurasoft about the impact of data collection and digital money, and how using digital financial solutions like mobile applications and digital money can help you track your money, budget, and plan. On this week's episode, as we discuss with the CEO and president at World Student Innovation Fund, we're going to talk about how storing money, saving up money for different financial needs, and how the compound effect can help even students start storing up money and making use of it for their future financial freedom. Welcome once again to tonight's episode of Plant Your Seed Rwanda, where we're interviewing Francis Mugume from World Student Innovation Fund. A very, very interesting. Thank you once again, Francis, for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Isaac.
We are talking about storing and saving up money. And I'm very interested in hearing a bit from you about what the World Student Innovation Fund is, and really, what are you looking forward to accomplishing over the long term, the next several decades?
Well, thank you so much. My name is Francis, as you said, and I'm the CEO and the president of World Student Innovation Fund. So, World Student Innovation Fund is a supply of capital from students from numerous higher institutions in Rwanda, and we want to use this capital to collectively purchase different securities, where each investor or each student will retain the control and the ownership of his shares after achieving our goal of raising $10 million by 2020. We were like only 7 students, and it started in my class, and we wanted to, we were like, how about saving up a little bit of our income? We are all government-sponsored students. We don't usually work because we are full-time students. But we said, how about making sure that this $25,000 we get from the government as the stipend?
Yes.
How about getting a little bit, at least 2,100 francs from this, and make sure that we are saving something. By the time of graduation, we'll be having like enough capital. We started like that, but students were like, how about enlarging this? This is something that is important to everyone. Every student in the university wants to save. How about making sure that we make it big than ourselves? So that's how we started. We started brainstorming with the name, and everyone loved it. So that's how we get started. And today we're here. We're worth $25,000 within only 7 months, and we're working with these organizations. It's amazing. The study is really incredible.
That's a very, very interesting story, and incredible, like you said, especially talking about the disbursement that you get as government-sponsored students, 25,000 francs a month, and you're saving less than 10% of that.
That's right, yeah.
Which is a great start. I like that. I like that it's a realistic amount of what you have. It's not so big that it becomes a problem for you to manage your day-to-day needs.
I mean, saving is a culture.
Yeah.
Saving is not about like how much you save. Like people think like saving is like you must be earning like lots of money, but saving really is something that is inside your heart. Like at the end of the day, you have to be financial free, and in this essentially that at the end of the day, there's no one who's coming from outside and is going to give you money. So we said like, how about we understand 25,000. Actually, some students were complaining that 25,000 is a little money. The government should add. So we were like, No, this is something huge. So we started like that. We went to Beka. We approached them. We wanted to open up an account, but they said you have to be registered. We had to be registered in AllDB. We approached AllDB and we registered it as an investment company. So we are not a saving group, small saving group as you can hear it, but we're now 67 members. We started in Feb and we have raised $25,000. We have people in China, students in Rwandan students who are in China, who are students there, and they were like, "No, Francis, this is something you have to be part of. We can push it to the next level."
Yes.
They joined us, and some people are saving $100 US. Others are saving $40. We have people in Canada, Rwandan students who are in Canada. We have people who are in the United States. So when we look at where we were when we were starting and when we look at who we are today, it is really giving us like that we have the future is bright, and we are looking forward to raise 10 million. And we really indeed hope that by the time of in our third year, we are now in our first year. We have been just operating for 7 years, 7 months. So we think by the time of 2 years, 3 years, we'll be like knowing that at least we can achieve this goal of raising $10 million US.
And that's a very, very ambitious goal. I love ambitious goals because it sets us up to succeed when our goals are very, very high. It's a very common assumption that students don't have money. Students are broke because you're not working, you're not gainfully employed, and yet you're already talking about developing saving as a culture, not so much as a reflection of a large sum of money you have income. What would you say to working class people out there what would you say to the working class people about what they can start doing, or maybe what you started by doing, so they can adopt this culture of saving as well?
Yeah, as I said, saving is a culture. Let me give you a little bit example from myself. Like when I was in my junior high school, my mother was like, "Son, I understand now. I'm getting old, and I don't have anything else that I'm going to give you. So what I'm going to do is to open up an account for you. By the time you graduate in high school, you'll be having at least something to start on so that you can afford your college." So she wasn't sure if maybe I might get the government scholarship. So she started saving for me, and by the time of graduation, I had more than 2.5 million in capital. So when I went to college, we started this fund when I was a freshman at college. I'm now in my second year. So I was like, how about really, this is important. My mom saved for me, and in just 3-4 years, I was able to raise 2.5. She was doing it even without knowledge. She was just dropping on the bank, putting money on the bank account. So what I can say is like, saving is like, you have to put aside some other expenses. If you have, you're using an iPhone, let's say an iPhone 5, instead of like looking forward to buy an iPhone 6 Plus, how about saying like, let me use an iPhone 5 and save maybe for my house? You never know. So saving is something that you have to do. It is something that you have to take in heart. So what I can say is like, they should really think that the future really has a lot of opportunities. But if you have money at the end of the day, you might want to study a business. You might want to pay for your kid school fees. At the end of the day, saving is the only solution that you have to do. It is the only way to raise capital. You might do it in a short period of time, or you might, if you want, better more, you can do it for a period of time. Savings is the only way to get enough capital to be financially free.
Okay. Now that you've put money aside, you said you've been saving for the past 7 months, and you have 60-something members in your fund. What instruments do you use? I'm sure that as your fund members start to look to you for solutions of where to put the money, you said in the beginning, they said just put it on your account, and you wanted to do something more professional than that, which I commend you for doing. What was your experience shopping for products in the Rwandan market, and where did you end up in terms of where you put your money in?
Well, as I told you, like when we were starting, we really didn't know how to do this. Like we were wanted to save, but So I started like reaching out to people who've been in the financial sector for a while. The good thing by then, the government of Rwanda had recently had launched the National Investment Trust, Iterambere Fund. So I said, how about approaching this fund, maybe see how we can work together to make sure that we are saving more professionally and even more safer.
Yeah.
We decided that we sign up some agreement with Bank of Kigali because he's their banking partner. So what Bank of Kigali does is to make sure that they transfer our funds to the account of Rwanda National Investment Trust. We don't need to go there and say you have to do this every time and then. We already signed an agreement with them, which is a standing order. So for them, what they do is that they transfer our funds whenever we deposit on the money on the account, then they transfer to the National Investment Trust. Another thing is like how they report to us. They report to us on a daily basis, on a monthly basis actually, twice a month. They make sure they update us every month. We don't need to go there. We don't need to call anyone, hey, you didn't. Yes. So it is the best way to save. It helps us. We are secure and we don't even know paperwork, everything is done in a way that is professional and we like it. That's kind of what we're trying to do. And we want to do that for the next 3 years to come.
Fantastic. One thing, again, a couple of episodes ago, we talked about managing your money. One of the key elements of being able to store money over a period of time is to make it automatic. Being able to have a standing order, something that you don't have to think about every single month.
Yeah.
Being able to receive automated reports from your fund manager is really, really helpful. It makes it more convenient. It makes it easier to do. And you don't have to focus and worry about it every other day of the month. Maybe one last thing before we conclude today. I am also really encouraged by hearing how young people in university are putting together these funds, domestically mobilizing funds. And that's a very strong argument. As you spoke about government agenda, to get international funds invested into the country as well. You cannot ask somebody to invest in your house. You cannot ask a foreigner to invest in your house if you are not investing in your own house yourself. So I think that's a very strong argument that you're making as well in contribution to the national agenda, and I commend you for that as well. Thanks. What would you like to say to your colleagues around the world in diaspora? What message would you like to give them as we conclude in terms of getting involved?
We would like to see ourselves getting good jobs, or even getting financial free. And young people today is like they have this feeling that after here, I know that I will get a job. And it's not even a must that whoever graduates will get a job. So what we're trying to do is, what I can tell to anyone is like, how about creating, making sure that by the time you are in school, how about trying to make sure we bring up the little capital, the little income, I understand that you don't have jobs, but if they can save money, whether they as a group or other for themselves, they can do it. So they can come up by the time of graduation. For example, I'm sure by the time of graduation, I won't ask for a job from anyone. So I can say that young people in Rwanda and people abroad is like, if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to make ends meet, is like make sure that we work together. But there is something that I've seen is the power of coming together as young people. Whether you're in our diaspora in Rwanda, make sure I'm not asking them to come and join us, but wherever they are, if they can work together as young people, I think Rwanda can move from one level of economy to the other. Working together is the only thing that I can recommend to our young people. Whether they want to start a business, whether they want to accomplish something in academics, they have to come together. That is the most important thing.
Well, you've heard it directly from the president at World Student Innovation Fund. Working together is your way to financial independence. As we conclude tonight's episode, the takeaways that we should definitely hold on to are the fact that there is absolutely no reason for anyone with any income or increase of any kind cannot start saving as long as they begin to adopt this culture and this spirit of storing money and putting it away for future use. Students today are putting away large sums of money to prepare for the event of graduation and their future professional lives. Not relying on the jobs available to them on the marketplace, but creating jobs of their own, creating seed funds of their own. Now, if students can accomplish this much by their own initiative, how much more is expected of those of us in the workforce? Saving and investing and making the power of compound effort, working together, like-minded people, putting aside small amounts of money for future use can be extremely powerful. And we cannot afford to not take advantage of this very, very powerful tool. Compound effort is your friend. Whether you're a student in college or a working class professional, the power of compound effort will always afford you so much more progress than you can achieve alone.
Remember, the answer is only the answer. Financial success is living the answer every single day.